Hello again. It will perhaps surprise nobody to learn that a new piece of research carried out at Buckingham University indicates that within 40 years, white people will be a minority in Britain. Even more chilling is the prediction based on current trends for the situation by the turn of the century, which is that by that time, 2/3 of people in this country will either not have been born here or will have at least one immigrant parent. Oh, and Muslims will by that time make up a fifth of the population. I give a link to this research, which was published a few days ago, in the description to this video. I'm not going to waste time arguing whether this would be a good thing or a bad one. The fact is that we all know that it is a thing, that this is the state of affairs towards which we are currently racing at breakneck speed. We know too from many opinion polls and surveys that this situation is not one which is welcomed by the great majority of British citizens. Despite this, the two main political parties in this country, the Labour Party and the Conservatives, are seemingly working hand in glove towards that end. We cannot therefore rely upon either of those parties to take practical steps to prevent this prediction from becoming reality. That being so, then an unhappy choice lies before us. In fact, there are two choices. The first of these is to ask whether or not we, the majority of British people, prepared to sit back and wait until we have been reduced to a minority in our own country, whether we are content to watch the rise of militant Islam combined with the continued importation of millions of foreigners, primarily from Africa and Asia. If people answer to this question that they welcome this development, then there is, of course, no more to be said. Such people are traitors, quislings, and fifth columnists, and I regard them as my enemies. The second question is whether we are confident that the situation can be substantially changed by political means, acting within the law, or if another means must be found to alter the course of history. This is a difficult one to answer. I think that most of us agree that both Labour and the Conservative parties have proved quite useless over the course of the last quarter century, not only in dealing with immigration, of course, but with practically everything else. For 11 years of this century, we have been governed by the Labour Party, for 9 years by the Conservatives, and for 5 years by a coalition of the Conservative and Liberal parties. All three big political parties are accordingly complicit in the state of affairs in which we now find ourselves. There is no reason to suppose that they will behave any differently in the future. Which means that if we wish to see this business tackled, then we must look elsewhere, not depend on the familiar parties which we have all grown up with. Many people are pinning their hopes on Nigel Farage and the Reform Party. I shouldn't think that they could be any worse than what we have seen since the turn of the century, and so it is to be welcome that they are currently riding high in the opinion polls. But whether that will actually equate to real change is open to question. Seeing a reform government might well be a good beginning, but probably not a full solution to the challenge which we face. Which leads us inevitably to the final possibility, that we resort to extrajudicial means to prevent what at the moment seems inevitable. Such a decision to engage in what must inevitably end in an insurrection or civil war is one which I do not believe anybody watching this video would welcome. It is the fact, though, that there are people actively considering this terrible step. We must all hope that nobody will be driven to it. Time is certainly running out, but there is yet hope that matters may be tackled peacefully and by a strong, duly elected government which takes the bull by the horns and declares that rather than fooling around with net zero carbon, we shall instead focus on net zero immigration. Unless this is done, and to quote a politician who once gave a famous speech in 1968, as I look ahead, I am filled with foreboding. Like the Roman, I seem to see the Tiber foaming with much blood.